Well, Benedict joins me now with his 7-year-old son, Freddie. Lovely to see you, Freddie, and so good to see you, Benedict. For goodness sake, everybody was so worried about you. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm a little bit achy, and all I'm thinking about is now it's the day I've been handed Freddie. It's time to look after Freddie. I'm back to family duties.
Back to family duties,
I'm
of
more or
course.
less clear. I might be a zombie, but you try your best.
Well, you've had malaria and dengue, and that does fog the brain, you know, so it's difficult, very, very difficult.
Yeah.
Now, you went out there, why? What was the reason that you went there?
Last year, I was doing an expedition with Frank Gardner, the BBC security correspondent, and I heard that there were people called the YIFO, who I met 30 years ago, and I heard they were still out there,
right. And
I wanted to go and see how they were.
Oh, OK. Now, you chose not to take GPS and a phone. Why did you choose to do that?
I'm someone who believes that it's all about immersion. As an explorer in the 21st century, you've got to sink yourself into other communities and learn how the world is from their point of view. So I didn't want to be there with a phone and not be on a par with the local people. I didn't want them to think, oh, he can just be rescued any time. Right. For me, it's all about leaving baggage behind and disappearing into a place. And the experts are the locals. They were the ones who could help get me out. And they were, in fact, the ones who did help me get out.
Had you any idea? Clearly not, because you didn't have any communication, but had you any idea that as you were, like, you missed the flight and as the family, friends, everyone would be so concerned about you? Were you worried about that?
I had no idea, absolutely no idea. Yeah, I was just in my world. You know, I'm a professional. All I do, really, people might say I'm an explorer, adventurer. I'm a professional at getting myself through very remote places with the help of the local people, and that was my focus. And when this helicopter arrived to get me out, already I was quite confused. I had malaria, dengue, but I was concentrating on survival. This last moment of trying to get through a war zone. That's what happened. That's what blocked my exit from the outside world. Okay. So that was all my focus, and I really wasn't thinking about the outside world at all.
So when this helicopter appeared, it must have been so weird for you. It must have been really strange. Yes,
and my first thought was, what are they doing here? Because it just wasn't part of my plan at all. I had got myself to an airstrip, which I thought was the best way of trying to solve this problem of getting out. But no, it was strange, and I remember saying to these journalists who'd actually come to rescue me, you're like angels, you're like angels. And they must have thought, oh no, we've rescued a crackpot. Oh dear, what a shame. But it was so strange, and my mind was only on getting out, really for my wife. I'd left my wife and 3 children, including Freddie, back home.
I know. And Freddie, it's so lovely to see you. You must be so happy to have your dad back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't sound very enthusiastic, Freddie. Yes.
Yes.
I love my daddy.
I know, because you were I know how worried you all were. Did you get a dressing down from your wife?
Mummy was relieved. Was Mummy angry, do you think?
What?
Was Mummy angry? She was a little bit. She's mainly relieved, wasn't she?
I think it would be mainly relief. Of course it would be, of course.
Yeah. You were worried, though, weren't you, Freddie?
Yeah, yes, I was sort of worried because you had malaria and you were lost.
Yeah.
I know. But he's here now, and it's all fine now. It's all absolutely fine. It really is. Did you feel a little bit guilty when you got home?
I did. My wife, I like to feel, loves me for the person I am. Yeah. She knew she was marrying an explorer, and I've held myself back for 10 years.
Right.
And then I heard this extraordinary thing of these people called the YIFO who were still there, and I want to...
And you were drawn back?
I was drawn back. Suddenly it sort of broke the spell, and I just thought it's my duty as someone who documents the world to see how they were. And they were friends, you know, these people had invited me all those years before, and I wanted to record their life, which was changing rapidly.
But you must have realised that there was danger, because obviously you did record messages, you know, saying bye-bye to the families. So do you always do that when you go away?
No, I don't. Things don't normally go wrong, I have to say. Right. A whole catalogue of unfortunate things happened. I got these diseases, malaria, dengue fever, but then I found my way blocked by this war going on between the people who are my guides and the next-door neighbours. So
were you scared ever? Were you frightened?
I'm extraordinarily in a crisis. I'm used.
You just focused.
Yeah, and my dad was a test pilot, and I have got this thing of sort of focusing down, and that's something I'm quite good at. I mean, weirdly, I'm very bad in a social situation, but I'm better when I've got a crisis, which has made me feel I want to go back to jungles and deserts and things rather a lot to test myself. But
is it difficult, though, when people say, oh, you know, because you did get criticism, you know you did, people saying that's very selfish of you to go away when you've got a family. How did you justify that to yourself? Is it hard?
It was hard, but I think for me the strange thing was I worried about Freddie and my family. I thought, if only I had a phone, I could see if they're all right. So it's very strange from my point of view. I was thinking
but then
about
you
them.
made that choice not to, so it's...
I know. All I knew, my philosophy was to immerse myself, and I thought, I don't want the local people who I rely on looking at my phone thinking, he thinks he can be rescued, why can't we? And the lovely thing was, I was able to rescue someone. There was someone called Eka who had malaria, just like me. We managed to get her out.
Oh, good.
But it's this thing of wanting to look people in the eye and honestly say to them, look, I'm come here really on your terms.
The same as
I'm
you?
no threat.
The
Yeah,
same as
I'm no threat.
Is this you now you're not doing anymore?
I think there's a discussion still to be had.
Oh, you are. That means you are. That means you are. I know exploders. That means you are.
I'm going to have to think about this phone thing. It clearly was terribly worrying for my wife, and she was the one who raised the alarm.
Just even if you just put it in your pack and don't use it until you need to.
What I'd love to do is give it to one of the local people and say, look, if anything happens to any of us, we'll all be able to get out. But the fact of the matter is, I was in some of the remotest rainforests on the planet.